Welcome to this good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's Health Hangout. My name is Donnie DeSanti, your health and wellness coach, bringing you the latest in health tips to help you feel your best. Today we're going to talk a little bit about inflammation. What is it? How to kind of keep it at bay. Inflammation is, well, it's kind of the root cause of a lot of kind of sickness and diseases, and it's important to know, what it does and kind of how to keep it under control. If you think about, inflammation, what it does, it's probably the number one cause of, or at least the beginning stages of some of our biggest chronic diseases, such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and even a big source of kind of the weight issue we have going on right now. Definitely the obesity is definitely linked to inflammation that's going on internally. Okay, so what is it really inflammation? What does that mean? Okay, and inflammation is the body's first line of defense to kind of protect the body. Okay, if we think about, well, let's take this more externally right now. If you think about when we get bit by, like, a bee or something like that, the first things that happen obviously is pain, but we start to feel, soreness, tenderness. It starts to turn red. Okay, and then if we keep that, over time, if we don't really treat it right away, it starts to kind of swell up. And really, what that is that there's some kind of invader in the body. There's something going on in the body, and the body right away, starts to send antibodies to that area to protect it, to kind of help it. Okay, and so this is constantly going on, or I shouldn't say constantly, but it can be going on. Okay, it should. Let me take that back. It should only occur until the body starts to heal. Okay, and then that whole mechanism should shut off. Okay, all the antibodies flood to that area. They kind of help it heal, and then what you want is the body to kind of cool down after that area is healed. What's going on right now is we have this kind of chronic inflammation happening, especially at the beginning stages of a lot of diseases. So what's happening is it's the body's not shutting it off. It's almost like this inflammation is going on and on and on internally. It's kind of like burning out a light bulb, so to say, and it can cause a lot of chaos in our body and cause a lot of stress internally, a lot of wear and tear. Like I said, kind of burning out the light bulb. So we want to kind of keep that in consideration if we are kind of struggling with certain chronic diseases, even weight too. I think it's a good place to start is if you are looking to kind of shed pounds, is to start looking to cool down inflammation, and definitely start looking at things that are causing inflammation. That's a great place to start. I know we often, when we're trying to lose weight, we start counting calories and things like that. But if you are kind of carrying some extra pounds, start thinking as we're kind of inflamed inside out. So what are some ways to kind of bring that inflammation down? Before we get into kind of bringing down inflammation, I want to kind of touch on things that cause inflammation. How do we kind of, what's causing this? How is that trigger getting turned on and kept on? Okay, and a good place to always start is what's on our plate. What we're putting into our body. There's a lot of things that we eat nowadays that trigger inflammation because, well, first off, they're just not nutritionally rich. They're causing these kind of reactions in our body that are causing this kind of alarm. So the body is constantly trying to fight it, trying to heal the body internally. Okay, so what are some of these inflammations? The first one that you have to really look at and talk about is sugar. Okay, this is very prevalent in our diet right now, in a lot of our foods. Sugar is a big inflammatory. Okay, because it really kind of throws that switch on in our body and really can wreak havoc. Okay, I mean, there's so many things going on with sugar. Okay, I mean, between just a spike in insulin levels, you spike in your blood sugar, things like that, it's definitely causing some stress in the body. And when there is stress in the body, it's going to tend to lead to inflammation. Okay, and now we're not just talking about the white sugar grandma puts in her coffee, but you got to look at like a lot of the other sugars that are in foods. Okay, a lot of our foods now are laced with some kind of sweetener, and it might not say sugar on it, but there's a lot of hidden kind of sugar derivatives. Okay, it's important to recognize these sugars, these sweeteners, because they have the same reaction in our body as sugar. The body definitely picks it up and reacts the same way as it would a couple teaspoons of sugar. Just a couple, one little fact in particular, we're definitely consuming more sugar now than we ever have. Back in colonial times, I mean, people were consuming about 40 pounds of sugar a year. Okay, we're up to about 135 pounds person a year. I think it's actually even more now, maybe 150. Okay, that's almost like over 30 tablespoons a day of sugar. And when I'm talking sugar, something to keep in mind is, start reading ingredients a lot of your foods, especially all your packaged foods. Start reading labels. Look at words that end in ose, O-S-E. Okay, those are usually all sugar derived, words, sugar, alternatives. And you can see on the package it might say like sugar free or something like that, or no zero sugar, no sugar, but you look on the back and it has these kind of words like high fructose corn syrup or dextrose or fructose or sucrose or sucralose. Okay, these are all pretty much sugars. Okay, and they react the same way in the body. Okay, and it's sometimes even worse than just regular sugar. And over time, and I'm not just saying it's one time you have it and inflammation occurs, but it's hidden in so many different ways, and a person's just eating it constantly, breakfast, lunch, dinner, day after day after day. It starts to beat up on the body, and then that trigger gets thrown on, and the body's constantly trying to heal, and this inflammation's going on, and it's never really shutting off. So, the inflammation's on, and then a couple pounds come on, and cholesterol rises, and unfortunately down the road we have things like heart issues or diabetes, and God forbid even cancer. But so it's important to know how, pay attention to how much sugar you are taking in some of these kind of fake forms, because they are kind of leading to kind of chronic inflammation. Another thing to realize too is, and we'll talk more about it, is fats and things like that. But I know fats get blamed a lot for things like rising cholesterol and heart disease, but sugar is definitely the underlying cause to a lot of that. You want to lower your cholesterol, start cutting out your sugars. That's definitely the best place to start. Even heart disease, you want to help your heart, cut out the sugars, because they're causing this chaos in our blood sugar levels and stress on our liver and our pancreas. That's definitely causing a rise in cholesterol. Okay, so it's definitely something to look at. Look at those foods that you're eating. Start to incorporate more whole, nutritious, rich foods. Okay, and definitely, stay away from those sugars. I think it's one of the best things a person can do for their health is just start cutting out sugar, or at least definitely start drastically reducing it. And you'll notice a big change in your diet from just how you feel energy-wise. Probably getting sick less, more energy, sleeping better. Even your skin will start to look a lot better too by just cutting out sugar. It really is kind of the root cause of a lot of problems we have. And on top of that, when we're talking chronic disease, cancer feeds off sugar. Okay, cancer cells definitely feed off sugar, so it's definitely something to kind of stay away from when we're talking, bettering our health. Something else to consider. When we're talking about inflammatory foods, and this could kind of, this is a topic for debate, but I see it with a lot of clients of mine. Is the next two ones is dairy and gluten. Okay, now these tend to be some of the two biggest intolerances right now. Okay, and when we're talking intolerances, I'm not really talking allergies. Okay, allergies are more kind of quick response onset kind of reaction. When I'm talking intolerances, your body, some of these foods that we have intolerance to, your body has a tough time breaking it down. It can be causing some kind of reaction, in the digestive system, whether it be some sort of leaky gut or kind of uh, some kind of floral issue, or definitely something disrupting the digestive system. And our immune system is mostly found, 80% of it is found in our digestive system, in our gut system. So it's important to find out those foods that you're intolerant to. But a good place to start is with dairy and gluten. Just in my experience with a lot of clients, we have a tough time breaking a lot of these foods down in gluten and dairy. Okay, and when I'm talking gluten, gluten is made up of it's the protein that's found in wheat, barley, spelt, and rye. Okay, and they say sometimes oats as well. Um, and this seems to be causing a lot of issues for people. Uh, this is mostly in our flour products. A lot of our breads, our pastas, some of our desserts, pastries, and things like that use flour. Wheat has become a big, kind of issue. And in the severe case, we have, celiac disease. But, that's the severe case that a person can't even have it. But when we're talking more intolerances, a person can have it, on like a Monday and not feel kind of an effect or some kind of, irritation till like a Friday. And this might be an irritation that they don't feel for a while, but the symptoms come up in different ways, whether it be fatigue, headache, getting sickness, allergies, or inflammation. Okay, it could be contributing to constant inflammation, and that those first signs could be signs of weight gain, or having a tough time shedding weight. It could be because of this intolerance the person's having to, to these wheat products or these gluten products. When we're talking dairy, okay, dairy's up there as well. Dairy for a lot of people, it can be a little tough to digest as well. And I'm not just talking lactose intolerance here. That's more the enzyme that a person has a tough time breaking down. But many people have a tough time breaking or tolerating the proteins found in dairy, the whey and casein protein. And this can kind of cause some issues for people, whether it be digestive issues again, or weight gain, or again stemming to inflammation. If you think about it, dairy, trust me, I know it tastes delicious, but you think about it, we are the biggest consumer of dairy in the world. There's a lot of cultures, they don't really have much dairy. You go over to Asia, you don't really find much dairy over there. There are some other countries that use it maybe a little bit more in moderation than we do, but we consume definitely the most dairy in the world. And I know everyone says, where am I going to get my calcium from? But we also have the highest rate of osteoporosis anywhere in the world. So those two links, maybe dairy's not what it was cracked up to be. Okay, when we're first born, we do have that lactate enzyme to digest breast milk, but that starts to kind of we start to lose that as we get older, like age 8 or 9 or somewhere around there. So yeah, we still keep consuming dairy. And here's the thing with dairy too. Dairy, although it tastes great, I know, can definitely contribute to building up mucus. Okay, dairy is a big contributor to mucus, and mucus and bacteria are best friends. So we don't really want to set up any environment for bacteria, especially unhealthy bacteria, to thrive in. Okay, so you think about we're setting up this mucus and all this bacteria. Okay, that can start to trigger inflammation. Okay, so it can definitely, and again, we're having it meal after meal, day after day. It keeps setting the tone for that inflammation, and that inflammation switch stays on. Okay, because we keep feeding it in a way. The body's never really getting a chance to heal. So it's a good idea to kind of, kind of tone it down in dairy, or definitely look at how much dairy and gluten you are having. And some people say, well, I have it. I don't feel any reaction to that. Okay, and maybe that's the case, but it's worth giving it a try to take a break from it and see how you feel. Okay, eliminate it maybe for 7 to 14 days. See if you notice a difference when you add it back in. Okay, there's definitely a lot of clients that I've had that have had these kind of inflammatory responses, such as asthma or even allergies or even some stubborn weight. Once they cut that out, it's amazing how these symptoms kind of just started to heal and started to definitely start to reverse. Okay, so it's a good one to start there. If you are looking to get more into intolerances, uh, there's a lot of tests out there that you can test. Your intolerances to a lot of foods, not just dairy and gluten. You can try things like muscle testing. There are blood tests. Actually, there's blood tests that I use with clients that can test intolerances to a lot of foods. Not just dairy and gluten. And it's just a good valuable test to have to help make you feel better, really to help better your health. So it's worth looking into. So those are some things to kind of look at to kind of cut out inflammation too. We could also throw in there other things like alcohol. Okay, alcohol is another big inflammatory. I don't want to burst anyone's bubble about that. We all enjoy a cocktail here and there, but if you are struggling with kind of inflammation, it is worth looking at how much alcohol you are consuming. Okay, it definitely it can beat up on the liver and the pancreas and our organs, which definitely throws on that inflammation switch. So it's important. Moderation is key. So enjoy your cocktails. And struggling with inflammation, it's definitely another great place to start is looking at how much alcohol you are consuming. So that being said, what are some ways to kind of bring inflammation down? Okay, and I think if our food has a lot of healing properties, and I think a good place to start is always on our plate. So we want to start consuming those foods that help bring inflammation down. And I'll always start, and I think I mentioned this in every health hangout we have, that fruits and vegetables are definitely going to be the king of that. Consuming more of those nutritiously rich foods. Okay, they're going to help cool down that inflammation. You think about those fruits and those vegetables and greens. They're all cool, very cooling kind of foods, and they definitely help kind of to bring that inflammation down and definitely cool down the fire within. In particular for fruits, berries are loaded with antioxidants. They're great for helping bring down inflammation. And they're kind of lower in sugar than a lot of the other fruits, so it won't give you that big spike in your sugar levels, but they're great. And especially now we're getting into the warmer months, there's going to be more variety of fruit available, so take advantage of that, okay, to bring inflammation down. And of course your dark leafy greens, that chlorophyll rich greens and vegetables, those are great for purifying the blood and helping give that body the nutrients it needs and help put out that inflammation. But at the same time, the more of that good stuff you add into your diet, you're kind of cutting out a lot of that other crappy stuff that's causing inflammation. But so that's kind of the base across health, is just eating more kind of plants and fruits and things like that. But also some other things we want to add into that's going to help with bringing inflammation down is fats. Okay. The word fat has come kind of taboo in our vocabulary. Okay, fats are not making us fat. Healthy fats, at least, are not making us fat. But there are some healthy fats that we want to get into our diet to help bring inflammation down. Some of us have become fat depleted. We're not getting those healthy fats that we once did, and we've replaced them with these cheap processed fats. A lot of these trans fats, these processed oils. And they're definitely causing some inflammation. Okay, our body needs fatty acids. Okay, we need a nice balance of fatty acids between our omega-3, 6, and 9s. Okay, there has to be a nice. And again, let me back up and say, when I say essential fatty acids, okay, that means your body needs to get it from an outside source. Your body doesn't produce it. Okay, so when we're not getting these healthy fats, we're actually depleting our body of these fatty materials, and it can lead to inflammation. And a lot of these foods today, fried foods, these cheap oils, they're all just omega-6s mostly made up of. They're mostly made up of omega-6s, so they're going to kind of cause inflammation. So we want to start to get more of those omega-3 fatty acids and those rich omega-3 fatty acids. In particular, you have your EPA, your DHA. Those are some essential fatty acids that are very viable to definitely help in the heart, but definitely bringing inflammation down. Definitely great for cholesterol. You know, if you're trying to bring down your cholesterol, getting some healthy omega-3 fatty acids in is definitely imperative. So, what are some omega-3 rich foods? Okay, we can go with our fishes, mostly our wild, non-predatory fishes like salmon, sardines. Sardines get such a bad rap, but they're so good for you. You know, and they definitely rich in those omega-3s. You know, a lot of those other smaller fishes like lake trouts and mackerel, things like that, are going to be very rich in those omega-3s. And definitely always go wild when you're going with the seafood. Okay, we don't want any farm-raised, you know, science experiments. Okay, so, but what are some other ones too? You know, what if you're not into eating fish or vegetarian or you know, even our fish sources, you know, that's another debate, but they might not be as quality as they once were. So what are some other things we can get into? Uh, some things I want to bring to your attention are some seeds. Okay, in particular, we have things like we have hemp powder. Okay, hemp seeds, I should say. Okay, hemp is a great source of omega-3s. It's a great source of protein, a plant-based protein. Okay, I have here just a hemp powder. You know, it's great for throwing in smoothies or making some kind of protein shake. Hemp's a great, you know, very digestible form of protein, and it's very rich in those omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, and you can get it in, you know, powder form, or you can get it just in seed form. It's great on salads. You know, great in, you know, a lot of things too, stir fries, things like that, or you know, your oatmeal in the morning, or in smoothies. Okay, another great seed is flax seeds. Okay, another just, you know, plant-based seed, uh, and you know, a very rich in those omega-3 fats. I have here, this is ground up flaxseed. I would say probably the whole seed's probably better. I know you want to keep this in the fridge just to keep that freshness going. You can also get this in oil form, flax oil, you know, kind of a teaspoon a day, or you know, throw it in some dressing or in a smoothie. The same thing for hemp too. You can get hemp oil. You know, it's great to kind of throw, same thing as dressing or in a smoothie. But this is really rich in those healthy fatty acids, great for bringing inflammation down. So definitely highly recommend this one as well. The last seed I have here is we have chia seeds. Got a little packet here of these chia seeds. You remember the chia pet? Well, these are the seeds of it. Okay, and these are really another great source of protein, especially for vegetarians. You know, getting those kind of you know, those essential proteins in. This is great. I use it all the time. It's great in kind of your cereals or your oatmeals, or you know, put them in desserts. You can actually make like a chia pudding with these. It's really tasty. Kind of soak them for a couple hours in like coconut milk, and these become very gelatinous when you soak them. So you can throw like a teaspoon in water, and they become very gelatinous, which kind of might be a little weird on texture, but you know, you throw them in with some like coconut milk, and it makes a nice kind of pudding consistency, and you can kind of flavor it up as you like with some kind of sweetener or cinnamon or vanilla, but it makes a tasty little treat. But excuse me, these are great, and they're really small, so you know, you're not going to excuse me, you're not going to really be like snacking on handfuls of these. This is same with all these, the hemp, excuse me, and the flax too. They're better to just throw into things. You don't really want to be like, at least I don't, excuse me, at least I don't, it's like just throwing handfuls down. They're just great kind of mixing them with things too. So chia seeds is a great one too. You can kind of pick them up. I see them now a lot more in grocery stores, and you kind of, I think I got these at Trader Joe's, but I see them popping up more in like grocery stores. Same with flax too. I just got that at the basic supermarket. You don't have to go to, you know, some Whole Foods or health food store or anything like that. But yeah, try some out. They're great for bringing down inflammation, and they are providing us with those essential fatty acids. And those fats, they have a lot of health properties, not just bringing inflammation down, but you know, just helping with the development of, you know, our metabolism. It's great for brain health. Our brain is mostly made up of fat, so you know, getting some of these healthy fats in, it's just great for brain function. That they're showing studies of, you know, getting fats in early in your lives and throughout our lives can help with things like dementia, and Alzheimer's, and things like that. So it's important. Take advantage of that. And there's some other sources, great sources of fat as well. Things like avocados and nuts such as pumpkin seeds and walnuts and almonds, and other fats too, like extra virgin olive oil and coconut oil. So definitely take advantage of some of those too. One last thing too, when we're talking about keeping inflammation down is definitely get moving. Okay, just exercise in general and we're not talking. It doesn't need to be like intense workouts, but exercise definitely helps keep inflammation at bay. Okay, it gets that blood pumping. It helps break up any kind of calcification going on in the arteries, or keeping those arteries clear. Okay, can definitely help with inflammation. At the same time, it helps lose weight. Okay, and weight is definitely can be caused by inflammation. So shedding excess pounds is definitely going to help when dealing with inflammation. So definitely get moving, and that can just be 15 minutes a day. Just kind of starting slow. If you're not used to it, start walking, start moving. Quick walking. Even if you can do some light kind of strength training to start off. Nothing like getting stronger. Helping those muscles develop definitely helps with burning fat. Okay, and that is helping reduce inflammation. So those are a couple of tips today to kind of take away, especially if you're dealing with inflammation. Add a couple of those things in. Start changing with what's on your plate, adding some more of those plants and vegetables, those plants and fruits. They're going to help cool down that fire within. And try a couple of these omega-3 rich seeds or foods, I should say, things like hemp seeds, flax seeds, or chia seeds. Okay, they're definitely gonna help. They're gonna help with how you're feeling. They're definitely gonna help cool down that inflammation. And most importantly, get moving. Nothing beats kind of eating right and exercising. It's kind of, I don't want to say the cure-all, but it definitely it helps the process. It helps you feel good, and once you start feeling good, things start getting better. You start getting more energy, and it starts that ripple effect. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's hangout and take away a couple health tips. Definitely tune in next time, for some more health tips to help you feel in your best. Feel free to head over to DonnieDeSanti.com and drop a comment or check out some of our blogs. That's DonnieDeSanti, and drop in your email. We send out weekly health tips to help you feel your best. So we'd love to hear from you. So until next time, see you later.